Hi, I'm Kinetic, and today I'm asking people to define the line between their VR life and their IRL life and how much they're willing to allow those two to mix. Do you keep it a secret or are you willing to tell anyone? Now, I have some thoughts on this, but before I go into that, let's just jump right into a few interviews.
I don't tell people. I feel like it's my dirty little secret. Don't tell people that I play VR or anything. I mean, I have talked to people about it, but usually I won't bring up the fact that I play VR unless the other person brings it up first. And even then, I'm pretty minimal with what I talk about. It has actually. My cousin plays, and so a lot of the time when I'm hanging out with him and his friends, it comes up. It has come up in conversation before, but it's never brought up by me. I feel like it's this little dirty secret that I keep in the drawer and under the bed.
No. I have a whole friend group that like plays VR chat like on the weekends, like IRL friend group. I've even like I'm currently in college for game design, and I even like show my professors and like my I guess colleagues, like people who I go to school with, like the stuff that I do, just because of how close it is to like being a game dev and like being an avatar creator. Like I make everything from scratch, like the clothing. This body base in this head isn't made by me or the hair, but everything else is like on it is made by me. So like some like cool things I get to do is like I show my colleagues, professors, and then like I get to learn like if it was modeled correctly, if I could have improved on something, textured it better. So it's kind of like a building block in a way for myself. Obviously, it's different for everybody else, but like I'm pretty open on telling people like, yeah, I play VR chat. This is what I do. This is my stuff.
Um, so I kind of keep it a little bit of a secret. I typically won't tell a lot of people that I play VR chat because there's a whole stigma behind it. I'll say I play VR, and people are like, "Oh, that's cool. That's the future." So I typically will kind of be more quiet about it, but I'll tell my close friends. I'll be like, "Come join me in this. I made some cool people as friends now and stuff." So yeah.
Oh, I'm socially awkward. I don't talk to my neighbors. Yeah, but depending on the topic, I do talk to people about like VR and furry stuff, and like yeah, depending on the person.
So, those are just a few examples of the people that I asked. Some see virtual reality as an extension of their regular social life, in one case, even an extension of her career. But for others, it's a separate parallel life that they inhabit, never allowing the two to blur. You see, for some people, virtual reality doesn't simply offer an extension of existing society, it offers something that society doesn't offer, and that's a way to be someone else for a while. If that's what you want. And that's actually something new. That's something that hasn't existed anywhere else in history. Or has it existed before? What about the old masquerade balls where partygoers would wear a mask and drink too much and do things that they wouldn't normally do had they not been wearing a mask? Is that in any way similar to what we're exploring in virtual reality? Maybe a little, but ultimately, everyone at the old masquerade balls, they sorta knew who was behind the mask, but in VR, they don't know who you are. Not unless you want them to. The potential for full anonymity in an interactive social environment, that's freaking huge. It's almost like that fun hypothetical question, what would you do if you could turn invisible? You're interacting with others in a social environment, but no one actually knows who you are, which means there's really very little chance of any repercussions, which in many ways is sort of like being invisible. Maybe I'm looking at it a little too deep. It's just a game, Kinetic, right? Or is it? And I shouldn't make it seem like everyone who keeps their VR world and IRL world completely separate is doing so out of some sort of sus intent. There can be some very real reasons to keep these worlds separate out of a need for self-protection. One of the people that I interviewed recently shared a story about how someone found her IRL information, tracked her down, and was waiting for her one day outside in IRL. That kind of situation can be very real. I've heard another story about how someone was stalked in VR from IRL. She found out that her new VR friend was actually a creepy coworker who had intentionally found her in VR chat and was trying to form a relationship with her while keeping his identity and the fact that he knew who she was a secret the whole time. So yeah, there can be some very legit reasons to keep these worlds separate, no doubt. So I really think it comes down to personal preference. Are you going to let these two worlds mix? If so, you'll need to do so with a heightened state of awareness. You see, just like any other aspect of life, there are sharks in the water. The irony is that most of the time, you're actually more powerful than the sharks. It's just that when you don't know that the sharks are there, that's when they're the most dangerous. And sometimes, VR seems tailor-made for just that sort of scenario. But even with that in mind, I can't get past the thought that VR, which has started out as mostly just gaming platforms, continues to inhabit larger and larger roles in our IRL society. So I don't think that we can just put our heads in the sand either. Where do you draw that line? Drop a comment below. I'd like to hear it. Well, anyway, thanks for joining me. I am Kinetic, and I will see you next time.